Hello, Mr. Grimes here, bringing you another video. This video is on percents and using percents in equations. Now, I'm working from home tonight, so y'all may hear some other noises, my kids or anything like that. So I'll apologize first for that. So, anyways, percents and equations. Now, what we're going to do is a little bit different than what we did with percents and the proportions. When it was percents and proportions, we had something like this where we had two ratios set equal to each other as a proportion, and we did percent over 100 was equal to part over a whole. And in general, we would say that part, we would look for the word is to confirm that we have a part, and we would look for the word of to confirm that we had a whole. And we would just plug into this and we would cross multiply and then solve for the missing variable, whether it was a percent, part, whole. We could do that. In this instance, we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to go through this problem and kind of write down what we hear mathematically instead of writing down the words. Okay? So in general, when we hear the word what, this means that we don't know. Okay? We're saying, what is it, right? We don't know. So, when we hear the word what in general mathematics, we think that that's a variable that we have no clue what it is. So, we could label it an X, we could label it Y, Z, A, B, C. We could label it anything we wanted to. Okay? The word is very important in mathematics because the word is means equal. Okay? Equal. Is equal. Sorry about that, kiddos. Anyways, is equals. And then, of course, 50%, well, I mean, that's easy. 50% is just 50%, right? The word of is another important word that we learned about 2 lessons back. Of means multiply in mathematics. And then, of course, 40 is just 40. Okay, so what our point is to do at this point is to solve for the variable, and in order to do that, we have to get the variable on one side of the equation by itself. Luckily for us, the x is completely by itself on the left side, so we don't have to do anything to this problem other than to just work it out. This says 50% of 40. You should recognize that as being something from about 2 lessons ago where we took a percent of a number. This is the same thing, 50% of 40. So we would just put into our calculators, okay, let me clear this. We would do 50%, and on this calculator it does percentages. Of is multiply and then do 40, and there is our answer. Now, what if you don't have a calculator that can handle doing these percents like this? Well, in the case that your calculator can't handle percents in this way, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to change 50% into its decimal equivalent term. So we'd have to move the decimal back 2 places, and so we'd have 0.5. So watch this. I'm going to do it on the calculator and show you that it works. 0.5 times 40, and notice we get the same answer, 20. Okay, so that's just moving the decimal back 2 places. Your calculators on your phones a lot of times will be able to handle these calculations very well, and I want to show you what happens. So we're going to do 50%, and I want you to see what happens when I hit the percent button. You can't see it, but the percent button is right here. So I'm going to hit 50 and then hit the percent button right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Well, it's still going to have a glare. Let me see if I can cut this off. Still got a glare. Okay. Sorry, y'all, you can't see it, but anyone who has an iPhone, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The percent button be right here. When we hit percent, notice it changes it to its decimal form. So your calculators on your phone a lot of times will be able to handle the percent calculation because it's going to automatically change it to that. Then you'd hit times 40, and boom, you get your answer. Okay, so anyways, that's that. Let's go to another problem and practice again what we just did. Okay, in this problem it says 30 is 50% of what number? So 30 is just 30. Is means equals. 50% is just 50%. Of means multiply. And then when we hear the word what, that means the x. Okay? In this problem, the x is not on one side by itself. Notice the x has this 50% times with it. Okay? We haven't this year went over single step equations, but this is what the Payson Guide has given us, so I'm going to assume that we have done something with single step equations in the past. But the way that I've always taught this is in order to move things around, we got to do the opposite of what is being done. So since 50% is multiplying x, to move 50%, we need to divide by 50%. Notice when we divide the same thing, we get 1. Okay? Any number divided by itself is 1. Okay? Same thing happens here. 50 divided by 50 is 1. And if we're talking about symbolism here, percent divided by percent here is just going to be 1 as well, technically. And then we do 50% on this side. Okay, notice I kept the percent. That's very important. If you do not keep the percent here, you're going to be in trouble. Or if you have already changed this to decimals, you'll be fine then. But you need to keep the percent if you're not. Okay, these two cancel out, leaving us just the x on the right side. And now we're going to do 30 divided by 50%. Okay. Now, some of your calculators are going to be able to handle this, some are not. But just remember, if yours doesn't handle the percent, you're just going to change 50% to 0.5. So we got 30, and we're going to divide it by 50%. Oops, I hit the wrong button, y'all. There we go. Alright, and we get 60. Let's double check and make sure if we did change this to 0.5 here that it works. 30 divided by 0.5 is 60. If you're using your phone calculators, your phonulators, 30 divided by, you're going to do 50 and then hit percent equals, and there you go. Okay? One more example. Okay, in this example it says 50 is what percent of 100. Okay, so 50 is just 50. Is means equals again. What is x? It says percent. Of means multiply. And then 100 is just 100. We need to get the x on one side by itself. Okay, so we got x percent times 100. So it's being multiplied by 100, correct? So we're going to divide it by 100 to get rid of the 100. Oops, I put 500, sorry. 50 over 100 equals x percent. Okay, now we're going to do this first. Okay, 50 divided by 100. 50 divided by 100, and we get a decimal answer. Okay, I'm running out of room here. We get a decimal answer of 0.5 equals x percent. Now, is the x completely by itself yet? No, it is not. We have this percent sign here, so we need to change this over here to make this a percent. To make this a percent, we move the decimal 2 places to the right and we get 50%. Okay? Alright, in the upcoming videos, we're going to be talking about real world percents. But as far as it pertains to this, word problems are never going to change. You're just going to have to fill in what you know the words mean mathematically. So is equals, of is multiply, what is generally some type of variable. Okay? If you do not like this method, you can always revert back to using percent over 100 equals part over whole if you would rather do that. But anyways, that concludes this video, and we will see you next time.